shared it. I don't know if everybody sees it. Put it on Discord. Yep.
That's in D&D General for everyone who doesn't know how to do that.
Nice. All right. Cool. Okay. Well, it's been like a month because we skipped the last one. So yeah, we'll just dive right into the recap. It's not too long. Kind of did one big thing last session. All right. So last session was number 54. Called it Tower Defense. And the subtitle or quote was, "I'll save your ass if you don't blow us all up." Rudolph Van Richten raced along the causeway towards the old tower. He seemed relieved to possibly get assistance with a massive pack of wolves chasing him, while simultaneously annoyed that someone had broken into his hideout. Either way, he was shouting for help as he approached. Instructing the golems to lower the elevator, the party hurried down the tower to help Van Richten into the building. The animated suit of armor followed Ragnar. Van Richten seemed to recognize the group from Vallaki, but was confused as to why they were here. In the meantime, the wolves surrounded the front of the tower. One of them was carrying a large, wrapped package, which it shrugged off in the middle of the causeway. Peeking out of the front of the building, Juniper and Spargo caught a glimpse of one of the wolves as it transformed into a bearded man. Seen here to the left. He grabbed a javelin from the bundle. Several other wolves started crawling towards the open front door. Van Richten's eyes locked on Esmeralda, a look of shock on his face. She looked back with a sheepish, guilty look on hers. Deckard broke up the reunion and suggested that they first deal with the approaching wolves. Their strategy was to pin themselves into the small, crumbling, magic-suppressing tower. Ragnar commanded the suit of armor to secure the front door to buy them time. Alaric noted the wolves were approaching fast, so he helped brace the door as well. The wolves proceeded to slam themselves against the heavy wooden door, attempting to break it down. The tip of a javelin pierced through it harmlessly. Ragnar set a tripwire to slow the wolves should they breach the tower. Spargle jumped onto the lift and lit a torch while pulling out some combustor oil. Van Richten, still shocked at seeing Esmeralda, voiced concern about being trapped in the tower but didn't have any better suggestions. Thoradin asked him what the wolves were after, and he wasn't entirely sure. He did think something about the beacon at Argynvost Hold had upset Strahd. Maybe. And these wolves were somehow allied with the Dark Lord. Juniper asked him about the anti-magic field. Van Richten confirmed that it wasn't his creation, nor could he control it, or more importantly, turn it off. Eventually, the wolves started to slowly pry the door open. But fortunately, they were being funneled through. It's kind of tight opening there. Alaric strained to keep the door closed as long as possible, but had to release it to hop up onto the platform as it rose to the next floor. Another javelin splintered through the door and struck the armor. Ragnar grabbed a torch from Spargle and lit some debris at the base of the door, creating another obstacle for the invading wolves. This pushed back some of them, allowing the armor to momentarily close the door again. Noting that magic wasn't an option, Spargle reluctantly pulled out his bow and looked at it in disgust. Stupid, mundane machine, and he readied an arrow. Ez and Van Richten discussed another strategy. Well, the wagon, it's loaded, the doctor suggested. Oh no, you didn't, Ez gasped. Besides, this tower is about ready to crumble down around us. All right, last resort then, he replied. What they learned was that the wagon out front was loaded with alchemist's fire and rigged to explode. It would probably take out most of the island if it were triggered, including all of them. As summarized, this crazy old man wants to blow the whole damn place up. The invaders eventually overpowered the animated armor and the door burst open. Wolves flooded through and pounced the armor. Some of them squealed as they burned, but continued to assault the construct. Others lunged at the party, who were rising to the next floor. Thoradin struck at one of the wolves with Talon and quickly decapitated it. Deckard dropped a dagger, sticking it perfectly into the floor next to him as he drew and fired his crossbow at another wolf. Juniper flung a boomerang at the same one and killed it as she snatched the weapon back as it returned. However, a massive werewolf suddenly emerged in front of her. How many more of these wolves were in fact werewolves? This one produced another javelin, which he thrust at Juniper, striking her solidly. Another wolf sprung off the severely damaged suit of armor and managed to land on the platform as Ragnar shrugged it off. The mob of wolves and werewolves at the door were overwhelming the armor. Esmeralda drew a silvered sword from her back and swung it at the monsters. Another javelin struck Ragnar. He winced as he commanded the animated armor to keep fighting. Van Richten yelled, "Your magic weapons won't work here. Have to use silver," as he pulled out his dainty silver sword and swung wildly, missed entirely, and fell off the edge of the platform. He rolled a natural one. Thoradin yelled, "Hold tight, old man, I'm coming for you," as he chugged an invulnerability potion and scrambled across the elevator towards the doctor. "I'll save your ass if you don't blow us all up." Van Richten complied. The rickety floor beneath Van Richten and Thoradin started to tremble. Below that, the sound of wolves battled the magic armor, fighting for its life, clanking away. The werewolf trapped on the platform, was now cut off from its mates. Deckard snatched the silver dagger at his feet and slashed at it repeatedly. Blood gushed out. Juniper caught onto the strategy and grabbed her Wachter silver dagger and stabbed at it too. Almost dead, it gnashed back at Juniper and bit into her skin and slashed at her with its claws. The clanking from the animated armor below finally ceased. The wolves' howls grew louder. Ez jumped over to the other side of the elevator with a short sword drawn and impaled the werewolf. Its body flew off the platform's edge and transformed into an older female that landed next to Thoradin and Van Richten. This extra weight was just enough to cause the entire floor to come crashing down to the ground. The sudden avalanche of debris put out the fire and crushed a few wolves. Van Richten, Thoradin, and the dead werewolf landed near the broken pile of armor. A pack of wolves leaped into the carnage and attacked the paladin and the old doctor. Thoradin's invulnerability potion likely saved his life, but the elder human was in rough shape. Suddenly, they heard a wild scream from above as Alaric flew off the edge of the platform, brandishing Vladimir's greatsword, Hornguard as he began to call it. The half-orc's crushing weight was enough to shatter one wolf's spine. His sword finished off another. A gruff voice shouted commands from outside the tower. "Get the old man, get the hybrid, and get out." Incensed, Deckard muttered, "Aw, fuck that," as he blasted another wolf with his crossbow. Spargle awkwardly shot an arrow at a wounded wolf, killing it. Thoradin and Van Richten picked themselves up and scrambled to the platform. Deckard jumped down from the elevator, firing a crossbow bolt at a wolf as he landed on its corpse and rolled right into a huge, snarling werewolf. Juniper tossed a silver dagger, but missed as another werewolf dropped in from above and sank its teeth into the gnome. Ez drove her silvered sword into the creature as it howled in pain. Outside, the gruff voice shouted another command. "Damn it, wrap it up, boys. Guess this ain't happening." Unbeknownst to Thoradin, all three of the wolves he was fighting were werewolves. They clawed and bit at the dwarf. Again, his invulnerability kept him alive. Alaric swung at one of them, but Hornguard couldn't pierce its skin. The sword's magic didn't seem to work in here against the werewolves. Ragnar grabbed a silver dagger off the ground and stabbed another one dead. Spargle fired his bow, and then the wolves started to run. Thoradin stabbed a fleeing werewolf, licked its blood off the dagger, and then viciously snarled at the rest of them. Deckard suddenly came rushing out of the front of the tower, charging the leader. The man stared back in surprise, perhaps a bit of fear in his eyes. Deckard drew a silver dagger, vaulted into the air, and brought the blade down in one fast motion. Straight into the mud, a few feet in front of the man who was now smirking. He knelt forward and whispered, I think Deckard rolled a natural one there too. "Maybe not tonight, but you'll be ours soon enough." And with a whistle, he turned around and ran towards the pack. The remaining wolves perked up at this signal and quickened their pace. Deckard lunged once more at the man and slashed him solidly in his back with a silver dagger. A burning brand flashed across the man's back. As the wolves fled, Van Richten turned towards the group. He showed them a Taroka card, explaining that he had previously met an old Vistana woman. She told him that if he wanted to break his curse, he should seek the 5+1, visitors from a faraway land traveling with the last of a Barovian clan. "I think that means we need to work together," Dr. Rudolf Van Richten grumbled as he went down to secure the front of the building for the evening.
Is this last illustration from D&D?
Mm-hmm. That's an actual diagram of the tower.
That's cool.
And you
That is
can
really cool.
I know I mentioned this before, but you can right-click on some of those pictures, or you can right-click on any of those pictures, and open the image in its own tab. A lot of them are much higher resolution, and the screen kind of, you know what I'm saying. If you like,
Okay, never mind.
if you right-click on that and say like open image in a new tab or whatever, it'll be yeah, you can kind of zoom into it a little.
It's really cool.
Sorry, my Discord just fucking spazzed out.
No problemo.
I love your Discord icon.
Oh yeah, Ember made me that.
I
Thank
love
you,
that.
Ember.
That is really cool.
Thank you, honey.
Yeah, that came great.
I gotta show Colin that.
Is that yours?
Yeah, that was a good session of combat.
It
Yes,
was.
lots of
That was all. That is all we did that last session. That was
Didn't
a
we-
3-hour long
'cause we-
combat.
Yep. All combat.
Now back to Deckard and Thornton just charismaing across Barovia.
Charismaing.
It's a buddy comedy starring an
one
old
second.
cowboy.
Did you end up saying what this music was? Did I miss that?
This music right now,
Yeah.
that's in the background. It's one of the Roll20,
Oh,
whatever the guy's name is, McLeod or whatever.
A lot of
What?
his stuff is on Spotify, by the way.
I love it. It's good stuff.
I read when you mentioned him the last time. I looked him up and stuff, and he's like composed over like 2,000 different like songs that are all royalty free, and it's crazy.
It's hard to find music that's chill enough for background, but fantasy and cool. And yeah, he's got a lot. He's got like different genres too, like sci-fi and western and all kinds of shit. All right. Well, you know what? I will say that we are back in the tower, and at the top floor ish. The island where the tower is on, out in the middle of the lake, is all quiet now. Another little reminder of what that looks like.
You mentioned at the beginning of there, and I had totally forgot about this though. But about that, there was a package or something that he threw off He had
That
a
was
rat.
the javelins, I think.
What was it?
That was the javelins.
That was what that was. Javelins.
Yeah, he was carrying them.
Yeah, like the sort of pack of wolves rolled up, and one of them had like this bundle strapped to its back that it just kind of tossed off to the side, and then the one that the leader guy who sort of transformed into a human just started picking up the javelins and was just like, you know.
So we're
chucking
just
them.
kind of all hanging out. Did we do a long rest? I can't remember.
No, we didn't, because I didn't want. It was getting late. I didn't want to rush the end, and I think you guys wanted to. It is getting late. It's like 9 p.m.
So we're all just mulling about at the bottom of the tower, right?
Yeah, this is literally like moments after the end of the battle. You guys decided, and you can change your mind if you want, to let the remaining wolves and the leader all kind of like flee. You didn't give chase.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, you guys are like beat up, out of breath.
Okay. So we'll.
And Van Richten went and kind of shut the front door.
Well, hey, fellas, I got our boy marked. We'll be able to find him if we need to find him again.
Maybe we rest up before we pursue.
Aye, lads, before I do anything, I need a breather. I'm not feeling so great.
Yeah, man, you were fighting like 4 werewolves.
Did anyone actually get bit by a werewolf?
Not only did I get bit, I'm pretty sure I failed the roll too.
How you feeling, Juniper? I happen to have experience with this kind of thing.
I'm not feeling any extra hairy, if that makes any difference.
Is there
Can I
anything you
do?
can do to prevent, like, you know, the spread.
Well, I didn't
or-
get vaccinated, so you know.
Let's see here.
Thornton, you don't have anything in your bag of tricks, do you?
Adam, you're muted.
I hate my mic. Sorry, I was just trying to make a joke about vaccines and
So go ahead.
and,
You
and
have the floor.
werewolves. I said something about what variant it was. It's fine.
Well, that was cute.
It's the lupine variant.
It's the
Oh,
what?
yeah, I like that.
That's good. That
The
is good.
the lupine
I
variant.
like that.
I don't have any tricks, but I could lay my healing hands on anyone willing to be touched by the light.
Oh, he's asking for
I'm glad.
consent.
I'm glad you finished that sentence with "by the light."
Yeah.
So Juniper would be willing to go over and have some hands laid on her in order to not be a goat wolf.
And
Wolf.
Deckard approaches Juniper. Like, are there visible bite marks on her?
Make a medicine check.
Because I'm wondering, like, with my if I can like sense or detect like how serious any of these bites are, if she has any. So a medicine check.
Yep.
15.
Yeah, so you walk over and you're checking out Juniper, and I mean, everybody's pretty beat. You know, there's been debris and smoke and flames. I mean, you guys all look like you've been through hell. But you notice right away that Juniper has a bite on her shoulder, or like her on her shoulder, and then on her arm, and she's scratched up as well. And you're kind of knowing how some of this stuff goes. You're pretty sure. Unless she, I love you too, buddy. We don't
Love you
say that
too,
enough.
Adam.
Was my mic picking? Sorry, but my wife's not home, so Alexis is kind of hanging.
Sorry, we love you, brother.
You're pretty sure that unless Juniper had some sort of extra protection of some sort or whatever, that those bites were pretty deep, and if they were inflicted by a werewolf, she should be concerned.
Oh fuck.
So what lunar phase are we in? Can I look out the window and use my druid powers to figure out, is that how it works in D&D? Is it full moon stuff, or
I
Oh
don't
honey, this is Barovia. There ain't no rules here.
I
Full moon
can't
all the time.
tell you that. But go ahead and make a nature check.
yeah, sure.
Damn, that beer looks really good. What is that?
Oh, first of all, tonight I'm using the I don't know if you guys can
Lawson.
tell. Lawson.
Love it.
Adam, you're muted.
And it's Oktoberfest.
Look at him.
I've had this blue microphone for 1,000,000 years.
Nice.
It's perfect. It sounds great, but I don't know why this mute button. Anytime I hit it to mute, it works. Anytime I hit it to unmute, I gotta hit it like 4 fucking times, and it drives me crazy.
Well, I know Hillary's not with Blue anymore, but can she call Adam and just kind of run
Do
through
you
some things with
actually
him?
hold on? Do you run into that, Dan? Since you've had
I
your
do, too.
microphone about as long as me, I
run into that.
I find myself like having to click an extra time or two to unmute, and it's been like that from day one.
I'll have to pay attention. I don't use that mute button on it that often.
I know, I try not to because I know it makes like a clicking noise on Discord.
So I have Discord set with hotkeys. So I have like the end key, which is under your home button, you know.
Yeah.
I have that set to mute and unmute, and then I have the pause key to like toggle mute.
So the
So
only
if I
reason
have
I
to,
don't do
I call it
that
my
is 'cause I'm
sneeze key.
streaming.
Oh,
So it's like if I mute Discord, that's great, but then on the stream, I'm not muted. So I don't know if I could do it with the same button between programs.
I
I don't know. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
if
no,
I'm like, oh, I'll mute Discord because I got to talk to somebody, but then it's like
Right.
I'm still being recorded online, and I'm
Right.
not thinking about it. So I was just hit this button to cover it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, so at 18. So let me see. So you're super aware, Juniper, of the sort of also being a native of these lands. You're well aware of You know that if you're curious about when the next sort of full moon would be, it would be in two nights from now. Today is the day 19 of the ninth moon, and by the lunar cycle, on the 21st day of the ninth moon should be a full moon.
Well, you guys have until then to cure me. Elsewise, you are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday meals.
Well, yeah, Deckard inspects the wounds. He's like, well, fellas, she's down a river without a saddle on these bites here.
Shit. Oh, shit.
Out of roleplay, do I have a way, I don't even remember, of connecting with Emil and my crew again? I don't think I do.
I can't remember what they said or what they told you. But not that I can remember. It's not like you had like a sending stone or, any magical means of communicating
This is
with
the
them.
shit that we pull. I forget to ask people their names, how to find them again. So dumb.
Why don't we ask the old man?
Thoradin, you got bit a few times too, by the way.
I inspect his wounds.
What
So did
about,
you,
don't I have resistance against disease?
You do?
Can I inspect Thoradin's wounds too?
Yep. Go ahead and make a medicine check. Also, the elevator starts rising back up. You hear Van Richten say, you just hear him say up. And then the chains start cranking. He's closed the front door, and he's starting to come back up.
Rolled another 15.
You were looking at yourself or Thoradin?
Just looking at Thoradin.
Thoradin, same thing. He's got a bite on his forearm that looks like it was pretty deep. He's got same thing, a bunch of scratches and bites, but one on his forearm that looks like it's sunk in.
Well, fellas, if you're anything like me, you're gonna start seeing some weird things here soon.
But I'm immune to disease. Oh, maybe it's not a disease.
It's a gift.
Hey, Von Richten, you ever heard of a guy named
Blessing and a
Emil?
curse.
It's a curse. Yeah.
Curse.
The platform raises up his head's like coming up to the fourth floor as you guys are standing around kind of checking your wounds, and he looks up at you and he says, Emil, nah, don't know an Emil. Friend of yours?
Yeah, do children of Mother Night mean anything to you?
These guys, the werewolf clan, that's what they call themselves.
That ain't them. That ain't children of Mother Night. They're different.
So you know these creatures. I do know there's some disagreement amongst the clan.
Oh yeah, there's some assholes, and that's the people we just ran into, and then there's some good folks trying to do some good here. Emil's part of that crew. Do you know anything about it?
Good werewolves? He says, and he looks over at Esmeralda, and they're both looking at you like with doubt.
They exist.
Yeah. I haven't met one, but that guy there was Kirill, who I've been tracking a little bit. Who's this? Wait a minute. Emil. What do you know of him?
Well, I know he was part of the crew, and he and Kirill had some disagreements. He went his way with his followers, and Kirill went his. I'm pretty sure Kirill's serving Strahd.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes a hell of a lot of sense then. Where I was at, as I was up at the castle. I'm pretty good disguise here, kind of hiding in the mists. And these wolves brought somebody in chains to the castle. I was kind of watching the place for a little bit. Then that beacon lit up, and I heard there was a lot of grumbling from the vampire, I'm assuming, and the mist started to clear, and I don't know. There's no way that the vampire knows I'm here. I don't know how he would find out. I've been really undercover, but somehow seems like my cover was blown, and after these wolves dropped off their prisoner, they came flying out of the front of the castle and chased me all the way here. Maybe this Emil or one of his allies was the prisoner.
It's possible. What did he look like? Do you remember?
I couldn't see him.
How big is the pack? Emil's pack. Deckard.
From what I remember, I don't think it was very big. There were some followers. I met a few folks, but I don't know how big their following is. I know that they're the good ones.
I mean,
They're not serving Strahd.
Could we protect, possibly leverage them as an ally against Strahd?
I reckon we could. If I could find them. But I don't really know, what I'm doing, and I have no charisma, so I didn't ask him how to get back in touch with them.
You remember
We're pretty
where?
good about having potential allies that are captured. We got our feather friends of the feather here that are Irwin. I wonder what's going on with them right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that town's fucked. I wouldn't go back there.
Vallaki?
Oh yeah, it went down. It got pretty ugly after you guys split.
What happened?
Well, the countess, as she calls herself now, she allowed the people to have their religious festival at the church that they have each week at St. Andrew's. Father Lucian was keeping a mass, and there was more in attendance than usual. And as everybody was sort of together up in the church, it started to it was flooded suddenly with bats. They just started filling the church, kind of just pestering everybody, and the people at the mass fled the church, to get away from the bats. And there were, I guess, a number of vampire spawn that were clinging around the sides of the building, just sort of waiting for everybody to come out into the streets. And not many people survived. Some of them were turned into thralls themselves. And then, the monster himself appeared and killed the priest, Father Lucian, in front of everybody. Created a lot of chaos. Of course, he dipped out. I didn't see all of this. I kind of pieced it together later. But a lot of people died. They started to blame the Countess and anyone who kind of turned against her. Her people started to put down and lock up. And then she sort of spun the blame on the Mardikovs somehow. She claimed that the Blue Water Inn and the Mardikovs were in league with a group of of strangers who had been here recently and who had befriended the Vasily fella that you guys were with in the tavern. Apparently, this Vasily was working with the coffin maker in town, and somehow, I guess, was able to smuggle in a number of vampires to set up this sort of assault. Needless to say, it was a huge mess. The town sort of was in turmoil for a little while. Still is. The Mardikovs were all taken prisoner. But I was able to sneak back in, and I had a one last trick up my sleeve. Had to sacrifice a dear pet of mine that I was keeping for a contingency like this, and released the beast, who provided enough of a distraction that I was able to sneak the Mardikovs out of the city. And the last I saw them, they were headed to the winery. So I managed to get them out, but word on the street, Ernst, the captain of the guard now, has a word out that any of you or myself are to be arrested on the spot if we're seen anywhere near the city.
Son of a bitch.
I think we might need to go kill ourselves some walkers.
That's totally unfair. We helped those people quite a lot, and now they've turned on us. It's very unfair. Totally rigged.
No, we can go.
Van
back.
Richten, have you heard?
They should be afraid of
where
us.
Vasily is? Does anyone know where Vasily is?
No one spotted Vasily. Not even at the at what they're now calling St. Andrew's Feast.
What about the coffin maker?
Coffin maker, as far as I know, hadn't seen him. He was either he's holed up in his place there, or Lady Wachter already got to him.
So, a learned man like you, I have a question. When we lit that beacon, a Vistani rolled up on us and dropped off a coffin with my name on it. What do you make of that?
Burned into the coffin?
Yep.
Huh. I don't know why he would have brought it to the that old mansion, but what I heard was there were several other coffins with everybody else's name on them. The rest of your friends here, I think there was a coffin for each one of them, and that's what these spawn burst out of in the middle of the festival.
So you think he's trying to send us a message? Some sort of a threat?
Say, it seems reasonable, or set you up.
I think
I
some
don't know
people
about
think
you,
you're kind of
lads.
blocky.
I think we go bust some heads.
I'm with Ragnar. I don't like being used.
No. We can right some wrongs. And if he already took the Mardikovs out, we can just go in there and lay waste to these vampire spawn.
Give ourselves a little base of operations. Let's take over the whole damn town.
See if the toy maker's okay. And the monkey.
My monkey, Blinsky. Yeah, good guy, good fella. Means well. People don't understand him. Yeah, I didn't have time to check in on him, to be honest with you. Once the last thing I saw as I fled Wallachia, I looked back and I saw my my saber-toothed tiger getting stabbed to death by a bunch of cultists, the Wachter House guardsmen. Sad to lose her.
Saber-toothed tiger? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I had a pet tiger. Really, she's the only reason.
You know what they
I was
say:
able to
win in Barovia.
All right, Siegfried. Seems like we bet on the wrong horse. It would appear over in Vallaki.
Wow. Yeah, I want a saber-toothed tiger.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Van Richten, I'm gonna just keep asking you questions because I'm a curious guy. Couple of things.
He kind of like leans over. He's got a huge bite in his side as well, and he kind of holds that bite as he kind of leans over, and he says, yeah, let's talk here for a little bit. Anybody got any food or drink or anything? Bandage?
I was gonna ask you that, lad. I'm so hungry I could eat an ox.
Like I didn't. Sorry, I didn't have time to run through the drive-through on the way here, but
Yeah, and nor did this dwarf, you wise ass.
Maybe we should kind of. We've all got a lot of beat up people here, so maybe we should take a rest and kind of make up our plans in the morning. I know.
Is Van Richten, is there anything that should be done for someone who is bit that you know of?
Yeah, not that any of us are bit, but just in case.
He said, well, Esmeralda looks over at you, Juniper, and she said, and she takes your arm and looks at the bite mark on your arm, and she kind of extends your arm out, and she pulls out her rapier, and she says, well, this is all I know how to do, and she takes the rapier and gets ready to start sawing your arm.
And then I see that, and I just tackle Esmeralda.
Yep, Juniper would also attempt to pull away and maybe scream a little bit.
All right, Thoradin, make a grapple check.
All right, I'm a tavern brawler.
Yep. Does that get you something?
Let me check. This is my fucking specialty, though. This is my wheelhouse. Let me check. Tavern, when you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you can use a bonus action to attempt to grapple. So no.
Ooh, that is pretty cool, though. That's
put everybody in headlocks around here. I mean,
Esmeralda, she's bit on the back.
Cutting
her arm off won't do anything.
Dan, what'd you say you want me to do? What was it?
I think that's a. It's just like a grapple. You use an attack action.
So just like a D20.
You try to see the
unarmed strike.
Strength check. Seize the target by making a grapple check instead of. I just make an athletic or strength check.
Okay. 17.
Okay. She's gonna try to dodge out of it, and she doesn't. So she pulls Juniper's arm out and brings her rapier, and she says, "Sorry, this is the only thing I know how to do." But Thoradin just comes barreling over and just kind of like knocks her down to the ground, and Van Richten laughs as he says, "No. No need. I can handle this. I just need a moment." Juniper, he walks up to you, and I gotta make sure I know how this works. Let's see. Yeah. So he kind of like looks at the bite that's on your arm, and he starts mumbling some words that sound like Latinish, almost like a kind of like Latin in a way. And he's kind of like drawing a circle around the bite, and he kind of brings that circle in concentrically, and you're almost watching the bite like erase as he kind of draws circles around it, like to the middle. And by the time he gets to the middle and lifts his finger, you have almost like fresh, pink skin there that's completely undamaged.
I don't want to be that guy, but is that a magic spell?
It is.
Maybe we should go outside to do that.
Wait, is there an anti-magic field still?
But I get that though, because I feel like with the amount of time we've spent here and the experiences we've had, that we might be going down that path of understanding that this tower is fucking with us and we should get out. So I don't think that's meta, right? That's observation.
I didn't even think about the fact that, yeah, if we were going to hold up, or hole up in here, we're pretty much, we're sort of kneecapped as well, too. So,
I mean, almost all of us have had run-ins with that since we've been here. So
yeah.
I think it makes sense.
That whole battle, all I did was hand people things.
You were so helpful. Get it, Sparkle?
Thanks. I shot an arrow.
You did the best.
I shot several arrows, but I didn't hit with them.
It's the thought that counts, buddy.
But you are in the tower and you're on the top floor, and for whatever reason, he's able to do this.
Excellent. So Juniper kind of looks at her arm a little bit, and then she points to her shoulder and says, I have one here too.
When you look at that one, you notice that there's still a mark there, but it looks better.
Good. So she'll take him over to Thwart and say, he has some too. Can you help him?
He says, well, that I can do. And then he kind of lifts up his shirt, and you see this big claw mark and bites on the side of him. And he says, but I can only do this one more time for now. And I kind of need to make sure I'm okay.
So I say to him, Van Helsing, leave it. I have dwarven blood and tricks that have been around since you were sucking on your mother's titties that I can use. So don't worry about me, lad.
He says, well, in the morning, or if we leave the tower, I can handle that. He says, one way that you can sort of avoid the tower's suppression field here is I have been able to figure out how to prepare certain spells as a ritual outside of the field, and then I'm able to use them inside. Much like I actually learned that from using a Speak to the Dead spell, which I'm able to use in this tower. So, if you want me to try this trick again, we can step outside, kind of maybe go a little bit outside of the front of the tower and see if that'll help you. I hate to tell you, my short friend, but these bites of the werewolves are curses. They're not anything your strong blood will be able to resist.
I'll stick to my dwarven heritage and the trainings I've learned from my gods, but thank you, lad.
Says, well, fair enough. I'm going to kind of take care of this myself. And he does the same thing he did with Juniper as he kind of clears up his wound off to the side. He still looks really beat up, though. He was, even outside of being bit by a werewolf, he is pretty shredded and tired now. So he slumps down upstairs there. He says, that's the only other thing I'll be able to do within the magic field. But, tomorrow, dwarf, says, if you change your mind, I definitely think I should take a look at your wound there. And he says, now you there. And he looks at Deckard. He says, I understand you've been mingling with this clan before.
What gave you that impression?
Well, that's I pay attention. I've been kind of watching some things, and the chatter that I heard from the group as I was sort of watching them in their caves, as they spoke of a man who they were looking for. Someone that they thought could turn the tide to one side of this clan dispute or the other. I didn't know exactly which of you it was, but I'm fairly certain, based on what I've seen you do, that it's you. Am I right?
That's probably right.
Esmeralda's kind of looking between the two of you. Says, well, I've never allied with a monster before. I usually killing them, but these lands here are strange, and I think you may be in a unique position to help us figure out how to put this clan to either to take care of them permanently, or as you say, maybe side with the good ones if there is such a thing.
How earnest does Deckard sense he's being here? Saying
Make
that?
a insight check.
Uh, 13.
You don't have any reason to think he's bullshitting you at all.
I want to make sure this dude's trying to kill me in my sleep. Yeah, I think I could probably be of some help. I definitely think there's a misunderstanding of the werewolves in general. I don't think they're all bad.
Well, I've been doing this a long time, and I've never met one that can control the urges when it comes down to it. So, if seems like you think you're different, I guess time will tell.
Well, ask these fellas. Ask them how many times they've actually seen me as a werewolf. Few and far between.
He kind of looks around at everybody.
Only when he's trying to bite our throats out.
Oh God.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Says, well then, I can't do any more I can't use my abilities anymore here while we're in the anti-magic field, but I can share the little scraps of food that I do have. He looks back at Ragnar. He says, "And what else did you want to know? I think we're kind of safe here. I think for the evening. I wouldn't be surprised if those wolves come back in greater numbers, but we'll have to just keep an eye out."
Do we want to camp in the tower, or do we want to exit? Because
We should get the fuck out of the tower.
I think we get out so we can use our magic.
I agree.
yeah, I would rather that too.
That way, if we get jumped, we could actually utilize spells.
Yeah, Von Richter, we're probably going to camp outside. If you want to join us, we can. Safety in numbers might be a little better.
I completely agree. I don't want to be stuck up here if those wolves come back, and we're kind of until you guys came along and opened this place up and exposed it to the rest of the land here. This was a pretty safe spot, but now it's more of a trap than anything. I say we get out of here before they come back. Let me just gather a few things. Goes over to a desk and he pulls it out. He looks at his desk that has the sort of long drawing table drawer that you guys found his conspiracy web thing.
Mm-hmm.
He starts to and he tries to block everybody's view as he's trying to open it and sneak it out, and then he stops for a second and he looks over at everybody and he goes, "Are you guys going through this shit too?"
Oh yeah, we saw that.
Oh.
I made a nice picture of it, and I'll show him the sketch I made of. I've got lots of questions. I don't know who Lumida, Ludmilla, Anastrazak, Bolenta. All these people, I'd love to know who they are. Who's the abbot?
He just looks so annoyed, like your dad when you just walked in the room. You wrecked some of his stuff, his boat in the bottle that he was building. You just shattered it, right? And he's disappointed dad look at you guys, and he's like, "Well, guess we don't have too many more secrets here amongst us, so yeah, I'll explain all of that. Let's pack up and get out before they return." about 10 or 11 at night now. He does pack up a few things. You guys can do whatever else you want in the tower, but Van Richten and Esmeralda walk over to the elevator, kind of getting ready to get out of here.
Is there anything left of the construct, or is it dead?
It's down below by the front door, and it's sort of the last anyone had seen of it. I think Thornton and I forget who else fell down there with him, but it just looked like a suit of armor that had just been like thrown on the ground at that point, all kind
Gotcha.
of just disjoint, not connected anymore.
Got it. Okay.
All right, anything else you guys want to do at the tower, or are you guys going down and out?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm going down and out.
Down and out for sure.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'll take us back to the player map, which the token there is right where you're at on that little tower with the island. Where would you like to go?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe just outside's fine for a camp. We could probably, or do you guys think we should get out of this spot just because the wolves know we're here?
I think maybe leveraging the fact that we have a natural choke point isn't the worst idea.
Yeah.
We do have a natural. Yeah, right. So like, if we do get attacked, we could always just use the causeway as a choke point. And not get surrounded as easily. So
yeah, I agree.
If Dan, if you could pull up that that handout, I could pull that up. You don't need to pull that out. The aerial view of the tower. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Maybe we could go in one of these wooded areas, maybe next to the tower. There's some wooded areas.
Yeah, just with a view of the causeway.
Yeah, maybe that's the play.
Okay.
All right, so you're staying kind of near the tower, but kind of down the causeway, like more on the other end, or kind of behind the tower?
Like adjacent of the tower.
Okay.
If that's cool with everyone, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah, he's like looking at that aerial view. There's trees on the left and the right, so I
Correct.
think he just meant like
Correct. Yeah.
on one of those sides, just
Yeah.
where we get a view of get some coverage, but view of the causeway.
Right. That way, if anything approaches the causeway, we can quickly, form up. Yeah.
All right. How about this? I'll take you guys here. You should be able to kind of like move yourselves around now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm assuming like there's some wooded areas over here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's probably a little bit more dense than this map even looks. So if somebody wants to like look for tell me what you guys are doing. Are you like making a bonfire and hanging out? Are you like trying to like hide in some bushes and be sneaky?
Some coverage from the brush, in the brush and the trees.
Okay.
Make a fire, I think.
I feel like Juniper would use her skills from living in a forest to kind of point out a good spot for them to camp down in and not really easily be seen. And maybe, using the natural brush and cover to keep them from being spotted.
Awesome. Yeah, go ahead and make a survival check.
Okay.
Which you should be pretty good at.
Thornton would like to go fishing at some point.
Holy shit.
26.
Seems like
Oh, wow.
She found us a Radisson.
Yeah, so you guys are, everybody goes down the tower and it goes outside. Van Richten looks a little bit better after he kind of like healed himself up, and you guys are all looking around for like a good spot, and Juniper finds like almost like a behind a couple of trees, the ground goes like it's almost like a natural like ditch, but it's a real like sort of deep one right behind this tree, and it's big enough that you guys can all go down inside and put a little fire to the one side. The ditch is deep enough that the flames of the fire won't be seen. Now the smoke will go up, but you guys can have a little bit of light and hang out. And if you were even 40 feet away, you wouldn't see it. It's almost like down in a little sort of like trench or bunker, natural bunker there. So yeah, you guys find a really good spot.
Not bad for a forest gnome, Juniper.
I'm gonna smiles for herself.
I'll set up the alarm. I'll start going through my ritual. I'll mention to Von Richter. I'd love to hear about that trick about the anti-magic field, by the way, as I'm doing my ritual of.
He said, well, what it comes down to is the way this field works is any magic that was established in the area before the field went up, or what I learned is if I was able to prepare a certain types of my abilities ahead of time in a more of a ritual kind of fashion, I'm able to, for whatever reason, perform them within the field. I can't. Essentially, no new magic can be performed while inside that field. That's why the animated armor works. That's why some of the potions that your friend here was chugging in the middle of the fight. But it's really only those couple of things. But anyhow, now that we're out here, I think we're clear of the area. I've done quite a bit of checking around, and it does seem to be within about 5 feet of the outside and all around the tower itself. This magic here is ancient. This tower belonged to some sort of a old evil mage or a necromancer of some sort. Honestly, I don't even know how you guys figured out how to get that old suit of armor up and running. I'd been messing with that for quite some time, but you must be more savvy with the arcane arts than I am, for sure. Just a doctor.
I'd like to fit. Dorn wants to go fishing.
All right.
Seems like a good time to do that.
I'll grab some fish. I'm a master fisherman in the Dwarven lands. Us dwarves make great.
You need help with the bait?
Are you a masturbator?
Or are you a masturbator?
Dwarves don't need bait.
Do you have
You just put
you
the
have
lure in your armpit?
do you have anything, any equipment or lure or anything? Like how are you trying to fish?
Nope.
He's noodling.
Just
Yeah, he's noodling with his arm.
You're that guy that's just like jumping in the water trying to grab fish with their bare hands?
No, like
Can I hand him the javelin that's stuck in me?
There you go. That's what I'm gonna do. Exactly, brother.
My God.
I toss him the javelin. You see if you can spare us some fish.
Dwarves don't need fishing poles, my friends. Watch this.
Juniper's gonna watch.
I'm definitely gonna watch.
Yeah, I'm watching too.
Oh boy.
You need a natural 20 to spear
Probably.
one minnow.
Yeah. There's a fish called pollock, and in my store they were reading off the fish oil bottles, and this lady kept saying Pollock, and I was like, I was getting really upset. She kept saying, "Oh, it's got mackerel, anchovy. There's Pollocks in there," and I was like, "Oh my God, you can't say that.
Well, there's not.
You can't do that." All right, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So explain to me how you're gonna fish.
So is the water here or maybe here? Like, is there like a shoreline?
Yep.
So
Yep.
if there's a shoreline here, I roll up my my boot. I take my shoes off and I just go into the water, and I look for a fish and I try and spear it if I can.
Wait a minute, what time is it?
It's 11 or so at night.
11 or so at night.
Yeah, it's getting a little dark.
This is usually when the Barovian blackfish is out.
Ooh.
Now you have dark vision, so you're
That's goddamn right I do.
I mean that actually is helpful in this case.
I'll show you a little forest gnome trick too, and I'll do a minor illusion. and I'll do like some little sparkles of fireflies right above, like right in front,
Oh.
about 5 or 10 feet above, in front of them, right above the surface of the water.
Now, do I know that you do that, or do you?
He said something.
Okay, I'm just double checking. Amber, don't play other people's characters for them. Thank you.
Wow.
All right, so Thoradin walks up to the edge of the water with his javelin, getting ready to like Blue Lagoon, fucking find some food for Brooke Shields.
Tom Hanks, baby.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Right.
Well, son.
So make a perception check
All right. Oh,
to
we're
see
really
if you
gonna.
see any fish.
22.
All right. So even before Spargle does his thing, you do notice.
Oh,
You gotta check the book.
he's got to check the book.
You notice
gotta go on Reddit.
a number of fish swimming together in a school, but they're about 9 feet away from you. What would you like to do?
So I turn to the group and I say, "Shh! I see some fish. We don't want to scare them away. Now I'm going to catch them. Don't say anything." So I creep along.
Okay, good point. Spargle, make a stealth check. Because Spargle's walking up behind you as you're saying that, and I want to see how quiet he's being.
Well, I wasn't gonna walk near him. Oh, do I have to do?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good point. How close are you?
Yeah, I can do it from 30 feet away.
What are you doing? Minor illusion or a
I was gonna do cantrip of minor illusion just so.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep. No, sorry. Take that back. Okay. So Thoradin looks back and he's like, "I see some, but be quiet." So go ahead, Thoradin. What were you gonna do next?
I'm gonna walk. They said 9 feet, so I'm gonna walk about 5 feet up. So I'm about 4 feet away from the fish, and then I'm gonna strike with the javelin and attempt to spear it.
Okay. Well, let me tell you something before you do that. The javelin has a 10-foot reach.
Ooh,
So you don't need to move. It's long enough. If
So-
you do move to get closer, you're gonna have to make like a stealth check
Okay,
to make sure you don't splash around in the water.
So I'm gonna stay where I was. I'm gonna utilize the length of the javelin, and try and stick it like the Witch King sticks Frodo with the sword. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
Remember
okay.
when the dwarves are going into Moria and that octopus shows up?
Oh, the Watcher, yeah.
I'm
oh, yeah.
hoping that doesn't happen here.
No, we're gonna be fine. This place is.
Remember that blue
Da-da-da-da.
dragon? Okay. So go ahead and make an attack. Now you make an attack and add your strength check.
My modifier, you mean?
Your modifier. Sorry, you don't add your proficiency because you're not proficient with.
Okay, so
Javelin.
I'm gonna just do it D20 plus 3.
Yep.
16 plus 3 is a 9. 19.
All right. Roll a d4.
Oh, the highlight of my week.
Glad you're blowing all your good rolls on a fishing
Right,
adventure.
this is what happens. Come on.
So Thoradin walks over, tells everybody to be quiet. Everybody's looking at him like he's fucking crazy. He's standing there, his little dwarf squatted over in the darkness at the edge of this water. He stabs the javelin down into this water and pulls it up. And there's 4 fucking fish stuck to the end of the javelin.
Skewing right on it.
Yeah.
You're
Spargle
glad we
then.
saved that javelin.
At the same time, Spargle does something behind you, and you see these glowing little fireflies floating along the top of the water, right where you stabbed the fish or the javelin, and rolled a natural 1. So several, like a whole school of fish in the area start jumping up really actively. right after you pull these out, these little fireflies come out, and like all these other fish start jumping up trying to catch these imaginary fireflies. Do you want to take another stab at grabbing some more?
Yes.
To
Does
make
does that mean I get the 4 off that I have?
Yeah. You flip those
Okay.
over,
Yeah,
and
so-
then go ahead and make another attack.
Okay. $18.
Another D4.
We're eating good tonight, boys. 1.
All right. So after this, so Thoradin's over there jabbing this spear in there, or this javelin in there, and you pull up another big fish, and you've got a whole pile of these fish. They look pretty healthy. They're flopping around on the ground near you, and you can cut them up and throw them on the fire, and everybody can have a big hearty fish dinner tonight.
How big are they?
They're like small salmon sized. You know, they're like
14 pounds?
I don't know, fisherman tail, right? They're like this.
All right, so about 8 pounds. Got it. Little porgies, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, like little porgies. All right.
I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Yeah, what's a porgy?
Like a bunch of Polacks. All right, so we're gonna like Polly. No, they're like probably like flounder, probably like that big.
Hit the dump button, okay?
It's
Hey, dog, hit the dump button.
okay, get rid of this guy. All right, so I walk back to the group and I say, "Well, looks like we're eating good tonight, boys. Nobody can beat the dwarven fisherman. Nobody."
Cook 'em up.
Ragnar looked
all right.
very impressed.
I gotta take a bathroom break real quick. So we'll say everybody gets a long rest, and then we can. Whoever wants to kind of ask Van Richten or Esmeralda some stuff during the long rest, we'll do that when we get back. Figure out what you guys want to do. I'll be back in like 3 minutes.
Back after these messages.
I'm here. I just had to go off camera for a minute.
No sweat. Man, I was like, there's no way this dwarf is going to roll up to the side of the water and just catch fish with a javelin. Like, first of all, he's going to need a 20 on perception just to spot one. He rolled a 22. Then I'm like, all right, if he spots one, he's got to get at least a 15 to be able to strike one of them. And he got like a 19. Like, this is fun. Like, that'd be like grabbing a spear and walking up to like the edge of Lake Erie and just getting walleye. You know, it's just like.
But the beauty of it is that you approach it with those things in mind, and you don't look at it and you go, "This isn't happening," regardless.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, that's the beauty
the
of
answer.
The game is it's like, yes, there's lots of ridiculous things that all of us try to do, and a lot of the times they don't work out or they don't happen. But I love that. We're just playing by the game rules, and it's not you always telling us how it is.
That's right. It's like you can try to do whatever you want. Yeah,
Right?
anything. You can try anything.
I have a question. This is probably way too open-ended, but if anybody tried to do anything, is there ever a situation where it was so ridiculous that even if said person rolled a natural 20 that you would say it didn't work?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's got to be some kind of limitations, right? Like, I can't say that the next time we run into Strahd, I'm like, oh, I knew he was coming, so I had my sword drawn, and I stabbed him in the heart, right? Like, stuff like that.
Right. Or you couldn't, like, say, like, oh, I'm going to try to persuade Strahd to just, be a nice guy and let everybody go home. And you roll a natural 20 and be like, boy, you really convinced him.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. There's just certain things.
There's probably a lot of times that needs to happen more than you would think.
Yeah. The way I look at it as it's like if it's like one of these, like, what's that guy's name? Dude Perfect, the YouTuber with like all the crazy. It's like if it's something that you could do if you tried it 100 times. Like if even like with dumb luck it could happen, I'll let you roll on it. And that natural 20 is that 1 out of 100 times that it happened, right? Actually, it's 1 out of 20 times that it would happen. But you get what I mean.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then, but if it's like like Dude Perfect can't throw a basketball and hit the moon, right? So it's like there's no you could roll a 30 natural 20s in a row, and it's just ain't gonna happen.
Yep, it's physically impossible.
That was a long, stupid explanation.
No, it made sense though.
Oh, you guys didn't see my shirt, or I don't know if I should.
I noticed it. I noticed it. I didn't want to say anything. That's cool.
Yeah, Dan, you always have the best shirts. Like some people, like the sex guys, you're like a shirt guy.
Yeah. And then right.
Sex guy. A car guy, a sex guy. I'm a t-shirt guy.
And then we got the wife beater guys.
Yeah, no. Then you got the fat guy, the food guy.
Wait. Is that all of us?
I'm the food guy.
I'm the fat guy.
All right, so you guys are sitting around. You guys are sitting around this campfire having some phenomenal fish. Honestly,
I'm not eating any of it. FYI.
You're not eating the fish?
Nope.
Why are you not eating my fish?
Lark doesn't want anything to do with the fish here. He's gonna just eat his stale rations in his pack.
I'm a little offended. Thorin's offended.
Do you
Do
blame
they
him?
have like
We can
3
talk
eyes?
about it later.
Goat. Oh, I should say goat's horns. Like horns. Sorry,
They look normal, the fish, right?
Juniper.
What's wrong with goats?
Like the fish that come out of the Springfield Lake.
Yeah, 3-eyed fish. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Nothing is normal about Barovia.
Does LRX say that?
Yes.
Does LRX say that? What the fuck's wrong with it?
That's all Lark say that. Yeah.
That's LRX.
Yeah. If that gets brought up in the banter back and forth, Alark would
So,
say.
Gordon,
There's
here's
nothing
that
normal
pick the
about
fish.
Barovia.
I know what you mean, lot. And he just takes a bite of the raw fish. But these snap otters taste so good. And he throws it to you.
Oof. Raw fish.
You know, when-
You got me at raw fish.
When
So
you see
it is raw though. I mean, like raw.
Yeah,
Like,
bro.
It was
It's
just
Gucci.
it was flopping around minutes ago.
Oh, he just smiggled it.
Yeah.
Meagle.
So juicy, sweet. The ketchup fish.
If Alark was able to not to complicate things, he would try to like agree and go along with Thornton, and then like kind of turn his head and like take a bite out of the fish, but he really didn't, and he would just kind of like fake chew and then like throw the fish back to him or somebody else.
Cool. All right, make a deception check, and Thornton make an insight check.
This is the best part of the night, always. 14. I'll stay.
Oh.
So, Thornton,
I'd like to
you
roll again.
you totally catch Alaric pretending to eat the fish and throws it away, and you see him.
No,
do it.
I didn't throw it away. I threw
Oh,
it to another person ready to eat or back to
Oh,
Thornton. However it
bullshit.
was working.
Bullshit! You were chucking that shit. to the
No,
side.
no. Listen, no.
I didn't.
No,
mean
he
to
said
call
he
you.
said he was
That's
throwing it
what
to somebody.
I said. I was either gonna throw it back to Thornton or whoever was next in line. If we were all taking bites out of the.
So that would be over to Ragnar, who's kind of like over in the corner.
Okay.
And so Ragnar, you see Alaric turn. I just saw Ponch's three-eyed fish. He's you see Ragnar. You also see Alaric pretending to eat this fish, and he kind of like hands it to you. This raw fish.
I'll take it and just kind of look at it now that it's got everybody's like teeth mark in it. And I'm just like, ugh. Jimmy, you could eat that? Now I'm not.
Oh, no, I'm not. Waterboy
Were you
close.
gonna cook these?
Yeah, and there's a
Can you
fire
at
right in
least-
front
Can
of
you
you.
at
You
least
guys-
sear it
just like
next time?
surreptitiously puts it by the fire.
Does
Like,
anybody have
yeah.
have butter?
Juniper's got one of the smaller fish on a sharpened stick that she has made, and she's roasting it over the fire, kind of like a marshmallow, watching everybody else in horror.
That's what it's about.
As good as they are cooked, they're even better raw and wriggling.
Ooh.
Ugh.
No, no.
He's gonna have a
As if
parasite.
this is the grossest thing I've done. I mean, come on.
Everyone now has the uncomfortable debuff.
Ooh, he ate raw fish. I think I've eaten dead flesh of people before. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
but it was dead. This was alive. It was wriggling.
He ate teeth.
Oh.
I ate fucking teeth.
He consumed teeth
That's right. Oh, jeez.
and mold,
Yeah,
probably like in the same day. I think he
Right,
licked
cave
mold.
mold. Right, like, come on.
Barovian sushi is like a delicatessen to this guy.
But you know,
I'm surprised you
he's
haven't
gonna
had to
have.
look up where to find Barovian Tums.
He's gonna have so many antibodies, and Barovian Pfizer is gonna be coming looking for him. Let me get your antibodies. You're immune to everything.
Oh, you're all fucked up.
Barova Pfizer.
All right, so
Oh,
Van Richten sits back and he's watching all this, and he kind of like moves over towards Juniper and says, "If you're cooking one, I wouldn't mind a bite. I don't eat
Does she-
the."
She agrees to give him part of her cooked fish.
Okay.
It doesn't appear that anybody else has decided to cook theirs.
I'm. for
I
cooking.
would cook mine, but I'm not eating any of this.
Well, you know, I heard Ulrich, if you take if something has germs on it or something bad on it, and then you hold it over the fire, it kills the bad stuff on it.
But
So,
it's still fish from Barovia, Juniper.
yes,
but
but I am a goat from Barovia.
I'm not trying to eat goats from Barovia.
Fair point.
I'll cook and eat a fish if one is made available.
Well, there's enough. There's enough for everybody to get a good meal. Those who want to eat it.
I like
Spargo You cast your alarm spell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you're doing that
Ragnar
sort of
eats it
around
after he sees Van Richten take a bite.
Yep, he takes a bite. Esmeralda has a little bit. They don't take more than their share. They're kind of nibbed, but they're having some. Tending to their wounds, kind of looking at watching their weapons and stuff. And Van Richten sits back at the edge of the fire and he looks back over at you, Ragnar, and he says, "You were starting to ask me something up there, friend. Apologies. Just wanted to get situated before we got into some deep conversation. What else can I kind of help you with?"
Well, Rudolph, Mr. Van Richten, there's going to be a lot of questions, but the topic of Blinsky came up, and we had a run-in over there, and I did have a question about that. He had dolls made of Irina, a woman we were traveling with.
Well, wait, what?
You remember that?
No, I don't remember that. What was it?
Yeah.
We went in the toy shop, and Spargle went behind the counter when I was talking to him, and he had a doll of Irina.
He was
I think
trying to
there were
hide
5 of them,
from her.
right?
Okay.
He had a couple of dolls, but yeah, that was like the weird deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, for starters, we were traveling with this Irina girl.
Oh, I know her.
The toy maker had dolls of them, and the big ugly guy with the dragon fireball arm seemed to be obsessed with her.
Huh.
And obviously, we've misplaced Irina. What can you tell us about that whole series of events?
Well, that's a lot of that. There's a lot to think about there. So let's take it one question at a time. Blinsky's a fool. We all know that, right? But he means well. The guy intends to make toys to make people happy. Of course, the things he builds are horrifying and terrifying, and no right-minded kid would want to play with any of his goofy toys. But the guy does not mean any harm. I had seen Izek, the henchman of the Baron, who you guys
I remember
took care of. I had seen him frequent the shop often, but I don't know anything about Blinsky making Irina dolls. In fact, the location of Irina or finding her is something I feel is important, but I don't have any leads there. So I'm not really sure. That's really odd. The only thing I can think of is that I don't know. I don't know why Izek would have any interest in Irina and why Blinsky would be making dolls in her likeness.
He was so interested in her that the group of us were almost killing him, and he was focused on chasing her.
Huh. It doesn't make any sense. I do know... I believe that Izek was was being taken care of and worked for the Baron for a long time. He was almost like an adopted son of the Baron. I know they weren't blood. I don't know how he lost his arm or why he had that crazy monster arm. He didn't really get in my way, and I stayed out of his way. And I can't say I'm disappointed that you guys took him out of the picture.
Would you say the Baron was somebody that should have been left where he was, or they were better without him? Was the Baron actually not a bad character?
Nah, he was a fucking idiot. I don't know. They were. I don't think anybody's sad to see him go. I don't think you guys did the wrong thing taking him out of the picture. But I will say that he believed the bullshit he was pushing on the people, though. He thought that his festivals and all the stuff he was doing was keeping Strahd away, and I don't believe that.
I was gonna ask you about those dumb festivals.
Oh no, hell no! It was just a convenient distraction for him to, have something to do as a leader. I don't think it had anything. It didn't do any damn good to keep the vampire out of town.
I just have one more for now before I open it up to my magician friend. Do you know anything about these old crones that are selling these meat pies that make everyone hallucinate?
It's so good.
Because it's been a problem, and
Oh.
And we would love to get more.
Did somebody say meat pies?
yeah,
Oh.
some of my friends are addicted to this, and
Oh fuck!
we need to
no.
figure this out.
Tell me you didn't eat them.
Oh,
None of you
I,
ate
Oh,
pies.
eat them.
I want more of them, lad. Where can I get more of them?
Okay.
Ragnar, have you eaten them?
Rudolph, unfortunately, we've all had some, but not all of us have had the effects.
No,
I don't think my
ate 'em.
big friend had any.
No, I didn't eat them. I don't eat shit in Barovia.
But you have to eat. You have to have sustenance. You're a big hulking.
No.
Don't question his dietary restrictions.
Out of character, I know she bought meat pies for everybody. I don't know who actually. I know I had to roll
yeah,
a Constitution
Tony.
check,
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
and I passed it.
Oh.
I think we rolled and passed, but
I think Alaric should lose one of his strength modifier points because of
maybe
not
everybody except Alaric. But I know some of us rolled and passed and didn't get drugged out.
Sorry, I'm just catching up on some messages that I missed.
It's
I
been
think
the
Alaric
bare.
should-
It's been the bare minimum for Alaric since he arrived in Barovia.
I think
Yeah, he
because
looks-
Alaric
He
is at
is
such a massive
way
calorie
more
deficit.
skeptical. Now he's more skeptical than anybody in this group is about.
You're at a
anything.
massive calorie deficit. You should lose maximum health temporarily or parts of your strength modifier.
Yeah, except I gain it back temporarily, so whatever.
He looks very lean. He's very vascular right now, and his face is kind of gone.
Yeah, I'd like the DM to do a review on that, please.
Ragnar, he says, all I know is those pies are made at the old windmill. That's not too far from Vallaki. The old woman that comes peddling them at the festivals is not who she seems to be. Anyone who's been eating the pies falls into a goddamn stupor and loses control. And I've seen some really decent people in Vallaki do some really awful things due to their addiction there. So I don't know why the Baron let the pies be sold at the festivals. I personally have obviously never eaten one. I'd be worried if any of you had one, but that's all I know about it.
We saw a guy give away his kid to one of those women.
Yup, I've seen the same. It seems that people get so addicted to the damn things that they're even willing to sell their own flesh and blood into an indentured servitude of some sort. I believe that's how these old women, that's their cheap labor. Maybe I'm not really sure. I haven't been by the old windmill. I kind of tried to avoid it. I don't know if you guys have learned any more.
I'd like to ask him if he knows about Nathaniel Swift.
Name doesn't ring a bell.
Do you know why this lady might be collecting children? This old crone.
Maybe to work in the bakery that she runs. I'm not sure.
We
Seems
had
like
an intimate-
she has an awful lot of she has taken an awful lot of children from Vallaki. She must have quite an operation factory even that she's running of these, to produce these pies.
Yeah, we had a small run-in with her and her friends.
Aye, we lost Blackwin.
You lost one of your friends to an old lady?
Aye.
Yeah, he really wanted to be part of the pie. He was dying to get into.
It was like
Bakery.
Pickle Rick.
I just want to die and be a pie. Too much work.
Sounds about right. That fits the bill. I know that guy in real life.
Can you put me? In the pie?
He says, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it sounds like you guys know more than I do about that old windmill. I just kind of got a bad vibe about it. Not sure where all these kids are working. Quite a few of them, though, I kind of noted, have been sort of walking out of Valaki towards that windmill. Ultimately, what the people here do and whatever addictions they get into or whatever they do to sort of tolerate this kind of awful existence in this shitty place, I don't blame them, but I haven't had the time to really investigate the windmill.
Well, speaking of what you've investigated, Ragnar points to Sparkle, and the little map thing the little conspiracy web.
Uh-huh.
Sparkle, ask him some questions.
Sparkle, are you gonna pull out the copy of the conspiracy web that you made and just
Yeah,
try to show him?
I just hop over next to him and I cross my legs and I pull it out of my lap and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. A lot of these seem to pertain to us, and you trying to figure out us. But some of these things I didn't really. Yes, he is a werewolf, and yes, but
Sparkle just starts telling everybody his dirty secrets. Yeah, he's the werewolf. He's...
You figured that out already. But some of these things we weren't sure of, and we were trying to put together some next steps, and I just wanted to know who this abbot is that you've got. Will he help? And these three characters on the right here, led by that Ludmilla name. A lot of this stuff makes sense to me that you have here, and we've been kind of following similar threads, but those ones I don't know at all.
I'm happy to share everything that I know, and I hope you would do the same. As I said, the old Vistana woman who told me that the only way to break my curse was to work with this group. It seems like this. It says, before I answer your question, there does her prophecy mean anything to you? I guess
Yes.
The 5 from a foreign land and 1 from a Barovian clan. I guess I interpret that as and he looks at everybody but Juniper and says, you 5 are obviously not from here, as I'm not as well, but you, lady, are you're a native of these lands?
Yeah, I'm from the woods that were north of Lake Zarovich, but a wizard came down and he burned all of that down, so there's just me now.
So you're the last of your clan.
I am.
He nods. He says, then this is it. This is what she meant. I don't trust the Vistani, but clearly we were fated to find each other. I'm not sure where we go from here, but I'm happy to share any of the knowledge I have, and I hope you will do the same.
We received some similar fortunes and cards as well.
A Taroka reading. You had one as well.
Yes, and in that reading, it seems like one of those definitely guided us towards you as well.
Towards me?
I believe so. It in order to kind of get to you, it seemed like it pointed first at Blinsky or I should say more generically, an entertaining man with a monkey.
My ruse. I'd been, as you may have pieced together, I'd been traveling incognito as a circus man to get my way into Vallaki. I'd been before you all came along. I was looking for some allies. These keepers of the feather, as you refer to them, the Mardikovs in Vallaki seemed to be, as far as I could tell, positioning themselves against Strahd, or somehow willing to help the people here. Of course, I didn't want to just come out and blow my cover and scare them off, so I hadn't really ever talked to them. I also don't want to I didn't want to expose them. It seems like they are somewhat a network of spies and information. I had planned to pull them into my mission, my objective, until all this transpired, and now it seems that perhaps we all should be going towards the same goal here.
I think so. We had and I'm not sure what you were doing at the castle itself at this point, other than trying to figure some things out. But we also have some things that we've been, some various different things, and maybe if you can shed light on any of them. Ragnar already mentioned about some, Vasily, and we want to try to help Irina if we can. The Mardikovs, I'm glad to hear you were able to get them out, because that was a concern of ours. There was another card that mentioned, or I don't think this was the card, actually. No,
I had a dream I was riding.
Donovich, a father in Barovia, mentioned that we seek the abbey at Kresk, and I didn't know if that had anything to do with the abbot you referred to.
It certainly does. It does. That is where the abbot resides. I have not met the man myself. I hear he's an upstanding, valiant young man who is in Kresk. He does seem to be good aligned and interested in helping people. And that's really what I've been looking for, is anybody that seems to be willing to help the people of this land against the vampire who rules it. The abbot, I was interested in meeting him and finding out if he could potentially be an ally to help me in my quest. But I hadn't been able to get into the city of Kresk yet. The Baron there he keeps the place sealed up and does not like outsiders.
We also have, so that's something that we may want to pursue. We've also, we're considering going to, we received clues about an Amber Temple and about something that could help us in our fight against Strahd. And we've learned enough that we feel like what is it, Salenka Pass, in the mountains to the south. Do you know anything about that temple or about what might reside there? We were warned of great evil.
I do not know of that. I do know that south of the winery and Yester Hill, that it does go up into the mountains, and it's quite an elevation. It's quite a trek. It's very cold, and it's very treacherous terrain up there. I'm not familiar with an Amber Temple. What did you say that you would find at this temple, or why do you look for it?
Something that will aid us in our mission against Strahd. But we are also warned of great evil by others.
So Ragnar cuts in. So we went to Argynvost, and we met the Revenants. the lead revenant there, Vladimir, said he wanted Strahd to be punished forever and really wouldn't even consider helping us get rid of Strahd because then it would end Strahd's punishment. And one of the other revenants, who seemed like he had enough of being one, said that maybe if we brought back the skull, they would help us. And he mentioned this Amber Temple, and that's where the key to defeating Strahd is. So
well, that makes a lot of sense. So I have been looking for a book. And this is where I need your help. And maybe this Amber Temple you speak of is the location of this tome that I didn't even know of. But I believe that that the vampire... I have pretty good evidence based on some old historical text and what I've learned from talking to people and my research here, that the vampire has periods of hibernation or inactivity. From what I can tell from sort of a timeline of events, he goes quiet. I've learned of a tome that he has authored himself, the Tome of Strahd, which I desperately seek to find because I believe this journal, this diary, will establish a pattern at which this vampire is vulnerable in his hibernation. Perhaps this Amber Temple is the location of this tome.
Vladimir said it seemed to be the whole key to beating him, and he didn't even want to mention anything about it because he said he wanted Strahd to be punished forever. He seemed to think that Strahd's existence itself was a punishment.
Yeah, he didn't want to end that curse. That's right.
Well, I don't disagree with your this undead acquaintance of yours. I do believe that Strahd himself is trapped here, although I don't think he minds it, given his position in these lands, and that he is one with them, and he seems to enjoy the torment that he applies to everybody here. So I had narrowed down the location of this book to be either in Kresk, in Argynvost, or in Castle Ravenloft itself. I had been spending the last couple of weeks casing the castle, hidden, and he Sparkle, make it a perception check real quick.
Crit.
He says, I had protected myself from the vampire detecting my presence. Sparkle, you notice that he's rotating a ring around his ring finger, and it's the exact same ring that you found very shortly after arriving in Barovia.
Interesting.
Looks like an actual clone of it. He says, I do not know how the vampire is aware of my presence. Something or someone must have tipped him off to me being here. Because it's important that I find out how, because I don't know how I was exposed. But that said, I was hiding in the mists, watching this castle. Ragnar, is it?
Yes.
Ragnar and Spargle. The names that you see on my notes that you copied without my permission, these women on over here, and he points to the right hand side. He says, I do not know who they are, but I've heard them referred to by name, and I've seen them coming in and out of the castle. They seem to be somehow allies of Strahd. They seem to be. It seems that Castle Ravenloft is not just occupied by the vampire, but by other friends and allies and companions that he has. I strongly believed that the tome is somewhere in the castle. I cannot go in there knowing how much defenses he has there. I had planned to ask the Mardikovs, the keepers, to help me infiltrate the castle, to get in and out and find that tome. We can find this Amber Temple if you think it may be there, or we can plan a heist, let's say, to get in and out of Castle Ravenloft and see if we can find the tome there. We can also go talk to the abbot.
We're fairly close to that, aren't we, Kresk?
Before we go to the castle, I'd want to talk to the Mardikovs and possibly meet this abbot. That castle's going to be a little hairy.
Yeah. And you know what, the Mardikovs you mentioned were at the winery. That would be on the way to the temple as well, right, Ragnar?
It seems like it. We should go check in with them. Make sure they don't feel that we double-crossed them.
So, possibility that, checking in with the abbot might have some benefit there. Who knows? He may still have the tome or whatever, but that wasn't part of your list, at least. But maybe an ally. The Amber Temple seems to be a better option as well. I agree to then going into the castle right now to try to do a heist. If I don't.
We're not ready for that, lads. We need more allies.
And the only other thing I can think of that's very high on our priority is to try to. But we have Irina, but I have no idea where Vasily is or the coffin maker. I can't remember his name. Out of character. Do you guys? Any of you guys remember? Why can't I think of that guy's name? The coffin maker. I got it in my notes somewhere.
But we could talk to the Mardikovs and see if they heard anything about Irina on the way out.
I think that's
Henrik Vandervoort. That's it.
Vandervoort.
Henrik Vandervoort.
What was the name?
Henrik Vandervoort.
Vanderhort, right?
How do you spell it?
Is it Vanderhort?
I thought it was Vort.
James
H-
Vanderbeek.
Hort.
I don't want your life.
I have very little faith in my spelling on my notes. So
I put the spelling in Roll20.
Thank you.
When you guys mention Irina, Van Richten kind of spins it around now, and he says, he goes, I've shared a bit of what I know. I'm curious to what you have learned. What is so you've traveled with Irina. I feel like she is someone that keeps popping up in my investigations, and it seems that Strahd or Izek or Belinsky, as you mentioned, or somebody has an interest in this woman. What do you know of her? What is why is she anyone? As far as I could tell, she's some random lady from the village. What could possibly? How could she? The burgomaster of where?
Barovia.
Oh, the village of Barovia. The burgomaster who passed away. She's related to him. But why would Strahd? And he's pensive. He's just really. I don't understand why Strahd would care about even the burgomaster's daughter.
She's strikingly beautiful. It could be an infatuation for Strahd. I don't know. Just about everybody here talks nice to her.
Wasn't her brother some kind of a nobleman or something?
Yeah, he's the burgomaster of
Now he is. That's right.
Yeah.
He took over. He was traveling with this group. Was that before Ragnar hooked up with you guys?
I think I saw him like one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he like pieced out because he thought he felt obligated to go back and rule his city.
No, he was just a bitch. He couldn't wait to stop having to fight people.
or that big pussy.
A big pussy.
But yeah, so he says, "Well, when did you guys part ways with this woman?"
Vasily. We didn't know anything at the time. Vasily seemed to be an ally and friend of the Mardikovs, and when the fight broke out, he said, we asked him to get her out of the way of danger, and next thing you know, he disappeared with her, and then we learned more.
And we checked his house and found a coffin there.
Yes, that's right. Also made by Henrik.
Oh God. Okay. Well, definitely. Yeah. I didn't trust the guy. I had followed him a little bit. I had so much time to kind of investigate things, and nothing ever came up that was caused me any concern other than just a gut feel to not trust him. So you're saying this Vasily took off with Irina, and you haven't seen either of them since?
And his house looked like nobody been in there for weeks.
Damn. He jots down a couple notes as you guys are saying that. He says that none of that sounds good either.
We had to solve a really weird puzzle to get into a secret room. Turned out to be Owlbear.
Owlbear. He writes that down too. Haven't seen an owlbear in these lands, but interesting.
Then, Rickon, something that you might find interesting. I don't want to cut off your questions, but I see on your notes that you were shocked that we defeated Baba Lysaga.
I was just about to ask.
So do you know why she's got a moving house and why there's an illusion of a smiling baby in there? And who that might be?
He says, I don't know about the illusion. I hadn't gotten that close to her. I know that some of the Keepers of the Feather were keeping an eye on her, and she was in some ways waging a war against these ravens, against the Keepers of the Feather. I believed, based on this animated hut and these scarecrow, this army of scarecrows and everything, I was afraid that she was too powerful to approach and to confront. I'm shocked that you guys were able to dispatch her.
She was pretty nasty.
Wasn't easy.
An impressive feat for sure, and certainly will help the Keepers of the Feather. But I'm not sure what her, where she sort of aligned with all of this conflict.
Well, we noticed she had a baby, not a carriage, but
bassinet.
She had a bassinet for a baby. We found that to be particularly odd.
It's super weird.
She said she was the mother of the king or something.
She said she was the mother of the Lord or something like that.
He thinks for a minute, and he looks down, and he looks up, and he goes, "No." He goes, "I don't think it could be." He goes, How old was she?" He
Probably
says this almost rhetorically.
Thousands of years old.
Very old, very desiccated. Not a lick of moisture in the skin.
One would think past her childbearing years.
It almost felt sad if she wasn't trying to murder us.
I point a finger at him and I say, "Now listen to me, Von Dutch. If you know anything, you must share your information because we are so lost in these lands. Any information you have, I'd ask you to share it now."
he's thinking. He really is. You could see him calculating in his head, and he says, "It's very possible that old hag knew the vampire in his mortal years."
Oh, well, she's dead now. So.
You think it was his mother?
Was not his mother. His biological parents, I am fairly certain, were royalty outside of this Vale 400 or 500 years ago. I believe them to be long deceased and were noble people themselves. Perhaps a nursemaid, someone else that was close to him. Not sure.
I don't think she's dead, to be honest. She said something very weird as she died, and one of the wicker-looking scarecrow men ran off. And I think he headed north.
Well, you burned her body after you killed her, right?
I think the body disappeared, didn't it?
I think the body disappeared, guys. Out of character.
He rolls his eyes and you didn't say that out loud.
No,
so he just says you burned her body, of course.
No.
He says, "Oh, well, yeah, she very well may have. We may see her again, but
How did we kill her by? The last blow? It wasn't the fireball, was it?
It may have been. I'm not sure, but I felt like the cloak thing disappeared.
Yeah, she like disintegrated into a whole bunch of, was it insects or bats? And
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Cloud of
floated
flies.
up in the air.
Her cloak was floating in the swamp, and there was like a cloud of flies. Anyhow, he says, I don't know how she comes into play here, but that is very interesting. And you said something about a scarecrow, and what was that?
Yeah, one of the scarecrow men seemed to run off, and she said it was no matter because she was going to send them off. I think he said it was going after the birds, the feather people.
Do you know where this scarecrow was sent?
I believe he ran north.
Which also pertains in some way, I don't know if it to a card we received or another card we received about a garden dusted with snow watched by a scarecrow with a sack-toothed grin. No, we should be looking for the garden.
The Taroka reading told you to go. Okay, this is adding up. The only snow areas I know of are Kresk and the Abbey, up in the hills. Cold, snow everywhere. The other place where there's snow is up into the mountains where you guys mentioned this pass, or something you heard from the Argynvost Hold revenants. Those are the only two areas in this entire valley that I've seen that have any snow.
I remember that. That's where the scarecrow went.
The scarecrow went. Okay, then I have to imagine that scarecrow headed into the mountains or headed to the Abbey at Kresk. And why do you have it? Why? What is it that you? What did this reading say you would find?
A holy symbol of hope.
Okay, not the book I'm looking for, but sounds useful.
Lads, I think we go to Kresk.
No, or the Abbey or the mountains. I don't know. It seems like Seems like those might be either one of those could be very logical next steps for us. Given the fact that it could, be related to either the tome or multiple of the cards, prophecies that we've been told will help us to defeat Strahd.
He says, well, I say we turn in, we wake up, and we decide where we're to go. What do you guys... What? He looks over at Esmeralda and he says, well, we're in it now. We're with this group, right? She nods and he says, I won't let you get into a situation. You know about the curse, and I won't let it happen to you. She nods, almost kind of like condescending, or almost like, yeah, but we're still gonna do what we need to do. And she says, yeah, I think we've got the group. This is what we need to do. Let them decide. And he nods as well. And so their intention is to crash out and let you guys decide where to go. And it seems like they're going to follow along with you. And obviously they'll continue to provide whatever information you guys want and help. And so unless you have any other questions, you can take your long rests now and then decide what you guys want to do.
I mean, my choice is Kresk, and we gotta see the abbot, because I think that's going to be the next big nugget of information.
That's just west of us, too. Do you know what I'm saying? If we go down a path, we could hit Kresk in short time and then make our way towards the temple.
And the vineyard, too. I think we should check in with the bird people, because
on our way,
they're probably very freaked out, very scared, very nervous, because they've just lost a lot of power and leverage in this land. So we have to kind of assure them.
Their home.
Right. So we have to assure them that we're on their side, and if we have to crack some skulls in Vallaki, we'd be more than happy to.
You know what? And I'm gonna procure the green orb that I have too.
The gem from the winery? Yep.
And the one I have is that the one from the winery? Which was the one I have? I have the one from the baby.
I think I have the one from the winery.
Yeah.
Well, you guys got one out of the when you saved Juniper, Winter Splinter. One was his heart, and the other one was in the Baba Lysaga's hut.
That's the one I have. Yeah. I have the Baba Lysaga, and speaking of Baba Lysaga, when I was in her giant rambling hut, the baby that or the cradle or whatever, I did find this gem, which the Mardikovs have been leveraging a similar one to help with their harvests. Do you know anything about these or the nature of these?
He looks at it and he's fascinated. He's just flipping it over and kind of looking at it, and then he starts to he says, "Give me a few minutes," and he starts to cast a spell, and he's kind of checking it out and stuff, and as he's looking at it, right, and now there's a little bit of a glow. His eyes kind of have this the silhouette of his eyes glow a little bit as he's staring at it, almost like looking at it like he's looking at it with a magnifying glass. And then he flips it back to you and he says, "Immense power, immense healing, life-giving power. It must be how these were ravens have been able to grow anything in these barren lands." He says definitely it's huge that you guys have been able to secure this. I'm sure the Mardikovs will appreciate having it returned to them.
They lent it to us. Well, lent it to us. You know, we actually
Coerce
treated
them
the
into
creature
giving it.
that had it, but they had let us hang on to it for the time being in order to see if it was something that could aid us in the bigger picture here, which is beyond the one harvest is and producing wine is defeating Strahd. But we have not been able to. It's interesting about the healing power aspect of it, but we have not learned to harness anything with him as of yet.
So as far as I can tell, it will be more of a boon to the land than it would be any other purpose. But I guess we'll learn.
Should we head to Kresk?
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna meet the abbot, I suppose.
So we did a long rest, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's morning time now. You guys did a long rest. Rest?
Raskin and Kresk.
Raskin and Kresk.
So if it is morning time, Thoradin was worried very much, not about the raw fish, but about the news about his bite, being bitten. And Thoradin was a bit worried, and he's usually not worried about that stuff. So Thoradin reviewed some of his spells, some of his knowledge, and he remembered that he learned a spell a long time ago, revolving around curses. So he took whatever notes he had. I'm assuming we have spell books, right? As
Wizards do. You don't quite as much.
They don't.
So yours is more like meditation and prayer, and you've learned how to speak to your deity to make him do things.
Right. Okay. So I could. Spent some time in prayer, deep prayer. You know, after the fish, just kind of thinking and marinating and seeking answers from Tyr. And Thoradin remembers that there is a special prayer that he can recite to cleanse the body of any curses. So that is called Remove Curse. So he remembered it, and he has been practicing the prayer, and he'd like to use Remove Curse on himself.
You wake up in the morning and you're concerned about this wound, and you've noticed that it hasn't healed, which isn't abnormal because it's only been a night. What concerns you maybe more is that you actually feel like this buzzing of energy, almost like in a good way, right? Even though you feel like odd and weird, you start to feel like almost like it's bolstering you in a way.
Like kind of like when you do cocaine?
Yeah, maybe.
Wait, what?
Maybe. If I knew what that was like.
Maybe.
But you know, that even concerns you a little bit more. You say you do this prayer and meditation, and you do pull down this divine sort of energy that makes that sensation completely. It disperses that sensation, and then as you look at the wound, it does the same thing that Van Richten's did, you know, when he healed it on Juniper and himself, where it sort of like just sort of seals up and looks like cleaner flesh, and that weird coursing, pulsing energy goes away, and you feel good.
Wolverine. Okay, Wolverine.
There you go.
Got it.
That's good. That's good.
All right. Well, that's a 3rd level spell slot, so.
So you use that, but probably a good move there. All right, are you guys moving towards where Kresk is on your map.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, shit, if anyone speak now, forever hold your peace.
That's
Closest to Kresk, we got to do it.
Esmeralda is doing whatever Van Richten does, and he seems to be he keeps bringing up the I really want to get the tome. I really want to find this journal diary, and I believe that it is in the castle. But it could be in Kresk, and it could be in the Amber Temple that you guys have talked about, because there was another location I wasn't sure about. So we're here. I'm with you guys. Let's talk. I'm really dying to talk to this abbot. I just don't know if we're going to be able to get into the town easily. I wasn't able to, but maybe things have changed. Into Kresk, yeah.
Why is that? Why was it so hard to?
Well, I was traveling by myself. I was trying to play it coy and undercover and just kind of play it off like I was a traveling, a wandering traveler who needed some room and board. And they were just apprehensive of letting me in. Not sure why. I didn't want to press the issue, and things were going down at Vallaki, so I didn't really have time.
Before, Fiona, Vallaki seemed to be very much, wanting to be not aligned with Strahd, and not, like they thought they were under protection from Strahd foolishly. I know, but is Kresk the same way, or is Kresk more?
My take on it is they feel they're far enough away from Ravenloft that they are safe as long as they don't let any outsiders sort of meddle in their business. It feels like they're in a little bubble there, and if they stay there, they're cool, and they feel that's how they're staying safe. But I also think that this abbot, I don't know anything about him other than he seems like a good guy who's trying to help the people of Kresk.
Okay.
Perhaps he's figured out some way of keeping them safe.
That sounds fishy, and it seems like it needs to be investigated. Why would Strahd leave one town alone and one town is overrun?
It seemed like he was leaving Vallaki alone for a while.
seemed like we're just gonna, yeah.
True.
Wonder if they're maybe doing something that's been successful with keeping him out.
Doom Eternal is $15 from $60. Just throwing that out there really quick.
Neil tell you that?
No, I happened to just see it.
Oh, he texted me that.
That's a pretty big deal. So.
When you say that, Juniper, Van Richten said, or either you or Ragnar, he says the other thing that's odd is that this abbot, I have record of him showing up like 100 years ago. But I hear that he's young. So that was one reason I wanted to kind of look into that.
Ragnar just mutters under his breath, "More dark magic."
Maybe he's a vampire too, but he only eats deer.
Do you know anything about, I doubt it's related, but just, do you know anything about this great wizard that challenged Strahd and then disappeared? I know he was overthrown in his attempt, but do you know anything about what happened to this great wizard afterward?
I have heard the same stories you've heard. A little before I arrived here, I had heard that a mage of some sort from another land came and challenged Strahd, and some of the villagers from Barovia were backing him. A very powerful mage. My understanding is he could control time, which is well above my capabilities or anyone else that I've encountered. And the fact that he was easily or was defeated by Strahd is concerning, of course, of the vampire, telling of the vampire's power. But I don't know anything more beyond that story, or where his whereabouts, or if the wizard was destroyed entirely.
How long ago did that happen?
I would say a year.
I wonder if that's the same wizard that burned down my forest.
Oh wow.
Where's your forest? Where
North
was
of
your
Lake
forest?
Zarovich.
He thinks for a minute. Actually, let me see how well he thinks. Ooh. You say that, and he says he turns to anybody. He says, "Map."
I pull the map out.
Okay. So he's looking at the same map you're looking at, and he starts pointing. He says, "You guys see where I'm pinging?"
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He says, "Well, if the fight here was at the castle, and as we know, the castle's 1,000 feet up in the air. If the mage were to have survived a fall, he would have fallen to the river, and says it's quite possible that he could have been carried off towards Lake Zarovich, and if he survived, that may be where he is now. Doesn't make any sense that he would randomly destroy a village of forest gnomes, but certainly the timing and location add up."
Similar to like when anybody mentions the kids or the meat pies, I get like kind of ashen and white. When you mentioned that about how anyone could burn down a village of forest gnomes, I turn white and get quiet. And
God, only a monster would burn someone to death.
oh,
Yeah, they
He
tumbled
says-
out of the window too. It's bad.
Oh my
They
God.
did. They did. That's what the dungeon master said. He said kids were tumbling out the window. That's when he's on fire.
Like multiple children on fire falling out of the window.
When
That's what.
Denethor runs all the way down the Citadel and jumps off of Minas Tirith. That's exactly what happened.
You know what I picture in a Team America World Police? Like I just picture the way they die, just like spinning out of the puppets. Just
that's pretty funny.
So Jennifer looks very pensive and kind of goes over this information in her head, but she doesn't say anything else.
so Ragnar's gonna elbow Alaric and be like, "Did these guys ever shut the fuck up? You guys want to go to Kresk already?" Like,
First timer.
I'm in.
So Van Richten says, she says, should we take, are we going to walk, or do we want to take the wagon?
as long as it's not gonna blow up.
Can we offload the explosives, sir?
He says, yes, of course. He says, Esmeralda, you still remember how to crawl around under there, right?
Yeah, make the chick with one leg do it. That's good.
She's a third of his age too, and but she says, yeah, I've got it. And she slides underneath the wagon. You see her doing something underneath the wagon, and if you're paying attention, you see her disappear up inside of it. You hear some clicking and rattling, and then the wagon doors open from the inside. And you see almost like a clothes rack of these flasks full of liquid all around the inside of this wagon. Spargo, you realize this is it's alchemist fire, very similar to a combustor oil thing, and the volume of it is if one of those flasks were to have dropped and ignited the other ones, you're talking about 20 sticks of dynamite worth of explosion that would have come from this wagon. That you guys were. I think Thoradin at one point had his hand on the knob ready to open this wagon that had the little sign on it that said keep out. But regardless,
Oh wow.
she dismantles the trap. She bring the flasks come down, and you go to get into it, and I wonder if I have a little picture of this.
Does that need to be ignited, or can impact ignite that?
Impact.
Ooh.
That's some Game of Thrones.
Argo's just fascinated with the wagon contents.
Oh wow.
This
That
is
is
some Leonardo
sweet.
da Vinci shit.
Yeah. So you see this wagon, and then let me see how this works. So Van Richten jumps up onto the front of the wagon. All right. There's no horses hitched to it at all. So I don't know if anybody's curious about how this wagon's actually going to move. But no one asks. So Van Richten kind of jumps up to where the driver's seat would be, and he says, "Dravash," and suddenly these two ghostly horses materialize at the front of the wagon, already hitched up, ready to pull it. They do look all fucked up. Like they have like skeleton faces and missing eyeballs and their teeth are falling out and shit like that. But whatever, he doesn't seem concerned. And Van Richten gets up in the front of it and he says, "All right, either hop up here with me or pile in."
So Juniper hops up. She's not going anywhere near. There's floss and stuff back there.
Yeah, I hop up.
So the gnomes hop up front with the driver. Some of the other guys jump in the back. Get ready to go.
My headset came out, so all I heard was him say, like, what are we doing? Getting in the front or piling in the back?
I'm still on Snickers, aren't I?
Oh yeah, you have a horse here, so you could take yourself.
Oh, do I still have Holyfield?
You could summon him.
I'll pass on that.
Okay. So you're gonna jump in the wagon.
Yeah, I'll
Everybody
jump
else
in the wagon.
Anyone not jumping in the wagon? Anyone want to go by foot or some other way?
Probably Lark's gonna walk.
No, I'll go in the wagon. As long as there's room for me.
That's a change. Base.
There's room.
I'm going in.
Okay. So the gnomes are up front, kind of sitting like kids next to the driver.
Oh, that's
Van
cute.
Richten.
That's cute. Yeah.
Esmeralda, she gets in the back with everybody else, kind of pushes some stuff around. She seems to be comfortable in this
Is
wagon.
her leg on? Is her leg
Yeah.
on or is her leg off? Okay.
Legs still attached.
I'm gonna drink from that at some point, but okay.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
She is gonna love it.
She will, that
It's
bitch.
gonna be really impressed.
That old bitch.
You could throw it on the fire like Joey.
Aw, too soon.
And at that, so now it's about 10 a.m. Van Richten snaps these like spectral kind of this harness on these spectral horses, and you start tearing down the old Svalich road.
Is there a speed limit on the old Svalich road?
Not enforced.
Not
Roll your own.
Not
Fast as you want to go, baby.
That's the best answer. Not
They have
enforced.
They have some of those little magic signs that say this is the speed limit and this is how fast you're going right now, and they start flashing if you go. You got to scroll down here a little bit, maybe, Adam.
Oh,
Or
cool.
or did I not do this right?
Oh, this is great.
No, it looks good.
No, that's good.
There you go. Okay. All right. So the wagon. It's maybe an hour at the most to get down the road, and Van Richten knows right where he's going because he's been here before, as he mentioned. And the road branches north and then climbs a rocky escarpment, ending at a gatehouse. Let me see. I'm going to uncover a little bit more here. Shit. Hold on a second. Not working. At a gatehouse built into a 20-foot high wall of stone reinforced with buttresses every 50 feet or so. It almost looks more kind of secured than Vallaki did in some ways. Oh shit, that's why I had my fucking book on the keyboard. That's why nothing was working. Let's see if I uncover. Okay. All right. I'm gonna take you up. You're winding up this road, and it's going up high into the hills, and it's getting colder as you go up. I mean, this is like really kind of a lot of elevation, and now it's kind of getting a little bit snowy up here. Buttresses every 50 feet or so, which are the little sort of box things you see along the wall here. The wall encloses a settlement on the side of a snow-dusted mountain spur. Beyond the wall, you see the tops of snow-covered pines and thin white wisps of smoke. The somber toll of a bell comes from a stone abbey that clings to the mountainside high above the settlement. The steady chime is inviting, a welcome change from the deathly silence and oppressive fog to which you've grown accustomed. It's hard to tell at this distance, but there seems to be a switchback road clinging to the cliffs that lead up to the walled settlement to the abbey.
So the abbey is independent of the main, right?
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to show all of this because actually I'm going to show like this, what you see at elevation. So this is going to be a little bit weird. But if you look up,
that's the abbey up there.
You're seeing an abbey. Yeah, so what you see is this walled city with pines, snow-covered pines. You can't really see the lower part of the city because the walls are high. But on the back end of the city that I just uncovered, up a little bit higher, you see an abbey up on a hill, and you can tell it's maybe a few hundred feet of elevation climbing up to get to this abbey.
Are there any signs that say anything?
No, all you see is what you see depicted in the bottom left of the thing, which is this what looks like this gatehouse. It's exactly what you're walking up to that gatehouse, and the air grows colder as you approach the walled settlement. 2 square towers with peaked roofs flank a stone archway into which is set a pair of 12-foot tall iron-bound wooden doors. Carved into the arch above the doors is a name, Kresk. The walls that extend from the gatehouse are 20 feet high. Atop the parapet, you see 4 figures wearing fur hats and clutching spears. They watch you approach nervously. And that's where I'm going to end it.
Ooh.
So before we get into all the what's going on at the city, whatever, you guys have reached Kresk. You're with Van Richten. You're with Esmeralda. You feel like this scarecrow that took off from the swamp might have headed this direction. Van Richten's super interested in this abbot who apparently is still young, although he's been here for 100 years, and he seems like he's a good guy. Nobody, Van Richten or you guys, seem to have much more information about Kresk itself or what's going on here. But next session, we'll pick up with, I guess you guys trying to get in or talking to these people and seeing how it goes.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Charismaing across Barovia.
Every session, I'll tell you this shit. It's just, woo!
Yeah, so this was a big discovery session. Kind of learn you guys syncing up with Van Richten. I think we sharing information both directions. I think I don't know.
Thornton found
I
some
feel
fish.
what's that?
The Thornton found some fish.
Yeah, you guys ate well.
Yeah.
Barovian fish didn't kill you. You managed to.
Drive Sparkle out. He just got so mad he just left.
No, I still had that sweet feature.
Yeah.
Where,
It was
that's-
nice to get some like an info dump from Von Richten.
Yeah, I feel like we're like towards the end of this shit now. We're in like the end of the third quarter. We're in the fourth quarter now.
Yeah, there's a lot that session it opened up a lot of we got a lot of like good clues and
Yeah.
answers. I agree.
And I would say you guys were like in an hour worth of travel from the tower to Kresk in the caravan or the wagon. If you guys had anything else that you might have wanted to ask Van Richten, we can use our fireside chat, to do some Q&A.
Cool.
I guess both directions. So if you guys think of something else you would have asked Van Richten on the way here, throw it in fireside chat and I'll role play it as if he was responding.
Cool.
But yeah, definitely teed up to get into something interesting next time. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Good stuff.
Cool. All right. Well, we can wrap it up there, and you guys are now at Kresk and try to figure out what the hell this Abbott's all about. See what's going on here.
All right, cool. I'll end it there.
You want to raid someone?